Joining me right now, former presidential candidate Governor Mike Huckabee. What do you think? Dark, dangerous, negative vision for America? Is that what Donald Trump, and you, by the way, as his supporter, have?
First of all, there's a big piece of news in that, Trish, that I think you got to make note of. Hillary said, and she's admitted, that she's sick and tired. That's no way for a president to be. So there alone, reason not to vote for Hillary. No, there's no doubt, Trish, she's gotten punchy. She's irritable. She was screaming and yelling at the heckler. And once you start yelling at a heckler, the heckler has just won the debate. Doesn't matter what either party said. When a candidate is so distracted by a heckler that you begin to react negatively and you're not doing it with a sense of humor and putting him in his place, you're just yelling at him, you have absolutely lost it.
I guess Donald Trump learned that a while ago, though, right? You know, early in the campaign trail when he had his hecklers, he just says, get them out. So
yeah,
he learned that perhaps the hard way.
And he stayed on message. By the way, I voted today, and record early voting in the panhandle of Florida, where I am. And also, it's interesting, this part of Florida will probably vote. I'm going to predict there'll be 80% or better for Donald Trump. It is so bright red that it looks like a fire engine convention in this part of the state. I have not seen a Hillary sign. I've not seen a Hillary sticker. Donald Trump is going to be in Pensacola tonight, a couple of hours from where I am, and he's going to carry this part of Florida, and I think he will win Florida and the election.
North Carolina. What about North Carolina, Pennsylvania? Those are a couple we've got our eye on. He's narrowing the gap there with her, but Governor, they still look like an uphill battle. Do you think that's going to change in the next few days?
I'm not too sure about Pennsylvania. Hillary may still take that. However, I think Trump is going to win North Carolina. A little instance. Yesterday, a friend of mine, he emailed me and he said that he was passing out voter guides up and down the line where people were standing in line to early vote. There was also a Democrat lady who was passing out Democrat voter guides. Nobody would take her voter guide. And she finally just said, would anybody take my voter guide? And she leaned over to my Republican friend and said, nobody wants my guides. Nobody will take them. And then she said, and I really don't blame them. That was from the Democrat.
Wow. Well, you know, look, we are seeing, Governor, in these polls, a huge gap in the enthusiasm between the left and the right now. Is that, do you think, a direct result of the second investigation into her email server?
I don't think it's all of that. I think it's death by a thousand cuts. And the fact is, people have come to realize, and this recent revelation just sort of solidified, we can't trust Hillary. This is a person who is so enveloped in corruption, confusion, collusion with people for whom she is shaken down to get money that enriches her family, enriches the Clinton Foundation, which in turn enriches her. I mean, people just look at that and say, look, Hillary has lived a life where she has lived by a totally different set of rules than the rest of us, and then she holds everyone in contempt who's not like her. She calls people the deplorables. She calls them irredeemable. She castigates
but isn't that the thinking? You want to almost shame people, right, into not voting for Donald Trump? You know, if you're voting for Donald Trump, you're effectively voting for the evil empire. She hasn't used that word yet, but, you know, give her a few days. But that's sort of what it sounds like, Governor.
And it's not a healthy way to try to get people to vote, because it's an insult to people who say, well, look, my family's voting for Trump, and I've got friends who are voting for Trump, and they're not terrible people. Hillary has just made them look like that they are dark and divisive and untrustworthy, and everybody's scratching their head saying, if there's anybody in this race untrustworthy, it's Hillary.
My goodness. It's been fascinating to watch, and it's only going to get more interesting from here. Governor, thank you, sir. Good to have you.